Hi, I'm Tati, and I have reader problems. So today I'm doing the reader problems tag, which was created by Tiffany at About to Read, and I'll leave a link to her video in the description. So let's get into the tag. I'm going to be looking over there a lot because I don't have these questions memorized and I'm just reading them off my computer. So up first is, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? I'm really a mood reader, so I literally usually just pick up whatever I'm in the mood for. Some factors that may weigh in on this could be what's very popular at the moment on BookTube or anywhere else, and maybe what has an adaptation coming out that might influence me to read something quicker or at a certain time. And maybe if I've set a sort of deadline for myself, like a TBR for a readathon or something, then I'll read stuff to match challenges for the TBR. But other than that, and sometimes in spite of all of those things, I will read just whatever I'm in the mood for, which is why I end up rereading so much. Number 2, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? This really depends on how much I'm not loving the book. Usually if I'm 50% of the way through or halfway through, I'm gonna keep reading just to figure out how it ends, maybe give it a chance to get better. However, if I come across something in the story that just rubs me the wrong way, or that I just really don't like, or that I really can't stand, I have no problem DNFing it and marking it as read. If I've gotten 50% of the way through the book and then I'm DNFing it, I'm definitely marking it as read. Number 3, the end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? Yes, usually I try to catch up. This happens to me every single year, including this year. Sometimes I make the goal, sometimes I don't. Usually I try to catch up by reading mangas. Number 4, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I hate this. I actually really do not like my covers not matching. But unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about it unless you can get a different edition that has matching covers. So even though I do prefer usually to get the hardcovers, I will get soft covers over hardcovers if the soft covers all match. And as you can probably tell by looking at my shelves, I do not have a problem with owning multiple copies of a book if I really love both covers. Number 5 is, everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? I'm going to say my sister, because we do usually have similar tastes when it comes to books. Also, a perk of BookTube is that you can usually always find someone who shares your opinion about a book. Number 6, you're reading a book and you are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? So I don't remember any specific time where this happened to me. However, I'm sure it has happened. Sometimes you're reading a book and it gets really sad all of a sudden and you didn't realize what was happening. Anyway, I think it really depends on the degree of crying it's going to be. If it's kind of just tearing up, I probably will just power through it and finish the scene at least. However, if it's going to be like full-on sobbing, I definitely think I would just have to stop reading where I am, no matter how painful that might be, to just stop reading in the middle of that scene if necessary until I can get somewhere more private to finish. 7, a sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? This one is actually pretty easy for me. I love to reread. My only exception to this would be maybe if I'm being honest with myself, I probably am not planning to read the second book because I didn't really like the first book, but maybe there's one thing I want to know about, like one side character, I want to know what happens to them. I might try to find a spoilery synopsis somewhere to read, or a spoilery review. BookTube videos, the discussion videos with spoilers, can be great for this if you just don't want to read a book but you want to know what happens. Number 8, you do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? I don't have a problem with people borrowing my books. Number 9, you've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? A pretty much foolproof way that I do this is by, again, rereading. So by rereading a favorite or a comfort read, I usually can get out of a reading slump. Also, sometimes it helps to just force myself to finish one of those 5 books I've picked up, because even if I'm not loving the book per se, it definitely is a satisfying feeling of accomplishment when I finally finish it, and I do usually end up liking it more than I thought I would. 10. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Not that many, and I know that sounds like a lie when you look at all the books on my TBR shelves. However, I do try to limit the books I buy to bargains, sales, special editions, and series or authors that I've read before or that I'm currently reading and that I know I love. Number 11, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Usually a long time, actually. It's a little bit of a tricky question to answer because I've only started recently buying a lot more books that I haven't read yet. I used to have a rule where I would rent books that I wanted to read from the library, and then I would only buy them if I was sure that I loved them enough to want to reread them. Since starting BookTube, I've kind of drifted away from doing that. However, because I still do use my library a lot, I found that I don't really pick up the books that I bought that are on my TBR. I am trying to work through them, but it has definitely been a while for some of these books. So those were my answers to the reader problems tag. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can let me know by giving this video a like. Again, I'm not tagging anyone specifically. However, if you're watching this and you can relate to any of these reader problems, consider yourself tagged. You can also let me know in the comments which of these reader problems you relate to the most. Mine is probably the Goodreads challenge, but I do also hate covers that don't match, so either one of those. I try to upload a new video to this channel every Tuesday and Friday, so subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye. That was weird. I'll keep it in, but it was weird. Why do I punch myself? The end of the year is coming and you... Oh, I get to read them. That's gonna save me some editing, I feel like.